All right, Dr. Drew, I was kind of taken away from the matters at hand here on Loveline by my cell phone going off.
Rudy in, so...
That's right. And my cell phone was going off, and a super special guest had called me on the cell phone wanting to talk to you, and he thought it would be better if he talked to you live on the air. So let's bring on to the air Bam Margera.
Bam? Maybe.
Or not.
There he is. Bam?
Hello?
Hey, Bam.
Yo.
What's going on?
Oh, okay, good.
What's up, dude?
I just got to L.A. I was in Bermuda, and Steve gave me your number, and you know what? You gave me a lot of good advice, and I just had a few questions that I think that would entertain people because I think that you know the answer.
If you want to do it on the air, I'm all ears.
Okay.
You hear what Jeff Probst is here, and Psycho Mike's here.
First of all, my mom tried to get me a psychiatrist in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is like the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, good. So I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll do it, whatever you say, because, you know, like I have trouble sleeping and, you know, well, a whole bunch of stuff. So basically, this lady sits me down, asks me my problem, and I just changed the whole subject and turned it around to her. And I go, okay, you live in Exton, Pennsylvania, and, you know, you probably go on vacation once a year, probably to the Caribbean. Am I right? And she's like, yeah, I do. And I go, let me guess, the Bahamas. And then she goes, oh, you're absolutely right. I'm like, yeah. So, you know, if I just went to Helsinki, Paris, Stockholm, London, Oslo, you know, like Bermuda, Tokyo, how are you going to know my problem when you haven't even been to any of those places?
Well, Bam, it's not like when we look into our diagnostic manuals, it includes travel logs. That's not how we do assessments like that.
Yeah, so. I know. I just feel like somebody's trying to give me advice of, you know, when she has never even been there, done that.
Well, Bam, what's your question for Drew?
That's Jeff Probst.
Well, I'm not done yet. Well, first of all, like, you know, like, if she's hired to, like, analyze people, if she hasn't been there, done that, how's she going to know?
What we use is a set of criteria that have nothing to do with travel, and, you know, we might take a little bit of a job history, but it has much more to do with your symptom complexes. That's where you start from.
Hey, Drew, you treat drug addicts, right?
Yeah.
You a drug addict?
Nope.
Smoke a lot of crack?
Nope. And I treat a lot of trauma survivors. I wasn't really traumatized.
You've been to Helsinki, too, though.
I have been to Helsinki, interestingly.
Here's the thing, Bam, and this is just my take on it, and I'm a guy who has been to therapy a lot and I've sought help from a couple different therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists. And the thing is like, you got to look at it this way. Most sports doctors that handle shattered kneecaps on, Peyton Manning.
A, don't play football. B,
never played at the NFL level.
And brain phenomena are no different than any other disorder. I don't have cancer, I can treat cancer patients. I don't have heart disease, I can treat heart attacks. I don't have depression, I can treat depression.
And also, Bam, you have such an incredibly unique lifestyle. You're never going to find anybody, be it in Westchester, Pennsylvania, or in Manhattan, that knows what it's like to be Bam Margera, to be a professional skateboarder and the star of Jackass.
Right, and aside from making a diagnosis, which is one thing, our other job is, and this is the thing that most people with mental health problems miss, is the capacity to have somebody empathize with them. Somebody to sit there and go, wow.
The thing was, I think when I told her that, and I said, so how... I said, how the F are you going to know my problem? And she didn't know what to say. And then I just go, you're wasting my time. And then I just get up and then I go.
All right, I'm gonna interrupt here. I'm going to deal with the elephant in the room. Mike,
yes,
you were saying off the air you didn't know if you had the guts to be like Howard Stern.
Right.
This is screaming for it. We would not still be with this call if it wasn't Bam.
Sure.
If this was somebody else, we would have dumped this call 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
He's rambling on about the same thing. No one here is saying what needs to be said, which is, Bam, love you, you're my friend. What's your question for Drew? I'm doing a radio show.
Who, me?
That's what I would say, Bam. I'm throwing it back to Mike because Mike is saying, do I have the courage to say that, well, this is one of those moments.
And I'm also, and it's also different too when when it's an advice show, because I'm trying to, as Bam's talking, I'm also thinking to myself, like, what would I say if he came to me in a moment of truth, in privacy and asked me these questions? And I'm also, Drew's looking at it from his...
Drew, and you know what I like about him is that he answered my call and, like, he did it just to do it. He wasn't even getting paid for it. He was going to San Francisco, and he simply answered my call and talked to me for 30 minutes when he didn't even need to, and I thought that was cool. So
yeah, but I mean, Jeff brings up a good point, though. It's like, look, I mean, we all kind of agree, be it from the doctor's point of view or just the everyman, that a psychologist, a psychiatrist too, is going to have an expertise in studying the human brain and the human experience, whether or not it be coming from the perspective of someone who has anecdotal experience of Bam Margera's life, you know?
The only thing is, like, I'll see 3 doctors at once in a day, and I'll tell them the exact same thing about how I feel, what my problem is, whatever, and they all, like, tell me something different. And then I'll say what another doctor told me to do, and I feel like they're all just guessing. I really do.
It's an interesting observation. But, well, it's obviously what we need to do. We've got to go to commercial, though. So
Okay.
hold on, okay?
All right.
I will.
1-800-LOVE-191 is the number. Jeff Probst, host of Survivor, is in the house tonight, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. on CBS. You can check it out. 1-800-LOVE-191 is that number. Once again, call us up here in the Trojan Studios. It is Loveline.
You have questions about love or relationships? At California Psychics, talk to one of our gifted psychics. Call California Psychics at 1-800-PREDICT or visit CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Yeah, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on CBS. It is the seminal television show Survivor. The host of that show, Jeff Probst, in the house tonight. 1-800-LOVE-191. Oh, there it is.
Previously on Survivor, Bam Margera called into Loveline with a question nobody could understand. Would he get a second chance, or would Psycho Mike send him off the island?
There it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
JeffProbst.com, CBS.com. Hey, Bam.
Yo.
So we were talking a little bit before the break about, your problems with psychologists and stuff like that. And at the break, I talked to you off the air, and you want to ask Dr. Drew another question.
Yeah, because I feel like he's the only one that understands. Like, I think, okay, for instance, like, Steve-O is sober now. It's been maybe 2 years by now, and he's super stoked about it. And thanks to Drew, he's the one who did it. But, like, we're in Madrid filming a new movie, and the opening of the movie in Spain, and Steve-O can't even be there because he felt like he might be tempted, that he wants to drink. Like,
But
well, what are you doing right now then? And he's like, just hanging out in Pasadena, California, like, kind of doing nothing because he might be tempted to drink. Like, I'd rather, like, go to Spain and have fun with all my friends and be tempted to drink.
Well, it's not like Steve-O is imprisoned in his sobriety. He loves his sobriety and values it so much that he doesn't want to do anything that could compromise it. So it's not like he's miserable and imprisoned and therefore has to white-knuckle his way through life.
Yeah, he was terrible, man. Like,
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. But Mike's a recovery guy. He has a point of view on this, too.
Yeah, my take on it, Bam, is a guy who was also in recovery. And I've certainly missed out on what would be considered fun times because I didn't want to compromise my sobriety. And I look at it this way. At what cost? Steve-O has developed and grown this unbelievable life by virtue of being sober,
and he's not dead.
And he missed out on that experience from Madrid, but he would have missed out on that experience in Madrid either way if he would have continued down the path he was on. And you know that to be true because
That's definitely true.
If he were to continue the way he was three years ago, he would be a dead man.
But like, for instance, my idol Ville Valo from Finland, he's a singer.
Yeah.
I know Ville.
Yeah, in a band. Yeah, he went to rehab at in Malibu. It's called
Promises.
Yeah, Promises, exactly. And once he got sober, like, he kind of just lost all of his funness. Like he became a hermit. Like he was just like hermitizing in his house, and he wouldn't leave.
Bam,
and I'm like, Villa, dude, like, yeah, you're sober and that's great and all, but like you won't leave your house, dude. Like you're scared to leave you're scared to show up in a bar. Like you don't do anything anymore.
It's not like they're afraid to do it, Bam. But you and I have had this conversation more than a couple times, so I know this is your big fear.
Scared. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I know that. I understand. But
Bam. The bottom line is that you seem to be exploring the idea of self-help in many regard, and I appreciate you calling. I appreciate you looking to Dr. Drew because he's the best at it. And just know that regardless of what your decisions are, you always have friends here at this show that are willing to help you and give you advice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, dude.
All right.
1-800-LOVE-191 be the number. It's all